Hi guys, it's Sam from Sammy's Reviews, and this is part 2 of a series where I recommend horror movies during the month of October to celebrate Halloween. And as I say in my previous videos, I am hosting a 30-day recommendation on my Instagram at Sammy's Reviews. Every day I'm going to be recommending a horror movie, and every Friday I'm going to be recommending a horror novel. If you're interested in that, you can check out the highlights in my Instagram account at Sammy's Reviews. As I mentioned in my previous video, the horror genre is a really interesting genre. It's a genre that can be mixed with other genres and create something amazing. And for the past few years, horror genre has developed immensely with the experimental art house horror movies that has been coming out regularly, such as The Witch, Hereditary, Midsommar, Black Coat's Daughter, Don't Breathe, It Comes at Night. So the first movie I'm going to be recommending is Videodrome by David Cronenberg. It's a 1983 sci-fi / horror movie starring James Wood and Debbie Harry. So this movie follows Max, who runs a cheap TV channel, and he's looking for a program to get the audience hooked so it can become a hit on his channel. He stumbled upon a program which is Videodrome, which shows very realistic gruesome acts. It's just the riddle of whether this is real or whether this is not real. So when his girlfriend at that time decides to audition to Videodrome, the program, and she never comes back, she totally disappeared, Max is on a journey to understand what is Videodrome and who are the people behind this weird show. It goes without saying that David Cronenberg is the master, the king of practical effects, and this movie is no different. The practical effects in this movie is uncomparable. Also, the idea and the plot behind the movie is really interesting, and it's really one of a kind. The story of unraveling what is actually happening in the movie is really great. The second movie I'm going to be recommending is another Korean movie. Korean movies, Korean horror is just unbeatable. It's a genre on its own, and one of the best movies in this genre is I Saw the Devil by Kim Ji-woon. It's a 2010 horror / thriller. So here's the synopsis. A grieving fiance wants to take revenge against a serial killer that brutally murders his wife, and he's on a quest to hunt this serial killer down. This movie is what nightmares is made of. This movie will linger under your skin, haunt you wherever you are, and there are some scenes in this movie you cannot fathom that this exists in the cinema. And the more the movie goes on, the crazier it gets and the more brutal it gets, and also A+ acting from all the main characters. The third movie I'm going to be recommending is Antichrist by Lars von Trier. Lars von Trier is a very controversial director with many controversial movies, from Nymphomaniac to Antichrist to Breaking the Waves to Melancholia. This movie stars one of my favorite actors of all time, Willem Dafoe. So a married couple witness their infant child falls out of a window and meets his death. And upon grieving and after being traumatized, the mother has been hospitalized, and her husband, the father of the child, is actually a psychiatrist, and he tries to treat her. He tries to treat her by taking her into a cabin where she spent a summer vacation with her own son there, and we see this woman unleashing her grief and frustration throughout the movie. So this movie is very unsettling, and this is not much of a surprise because Lars von Trier's entire filmography is disturbing on its own, but this movie in particular makes you question what it wants to say and what sort of message does it send. It's a very questionable idea, and it has a very bold execution, which makes it a crazy movie. Of course, the acting was excellent. Also, the usage of the dogma in the movie was really amazing, and it's something that Lars von Trier is known of, but it's specifically good in this movie. The fourth movie I'm going to be recommending is The Host, which is directed by Bong Joon-ho, who is the director of Parasite. It's a 2006 South Korean comedy / horror. Yes, comedy and horror. It stars my favorite South Korean actor, Kang Ho-sung, who starred in numerous movies, and he continues to impress me with every single movie I watch of his. So, a couple of scientists infected the water of the river by adding some solutions, and therefore a weird-looking hybrid creature comes out of the river and kills millions of people and kidnaps our main character's daughter. So his family and him goes out on a journey to save his own daughter, despite being told not to do that by the government or the police. Surprisingly, this horror movie is actually very funny. It's a very balanced movie between being a comedy and a horror movie, and it's actually very smart. Every single thing that's used by the end of the movie is referenced from the very beginning, which makes the ending scene, which is a fighting scene, kind of an epic. The fifth and last movie I'm going to be recommending in this video is Lost Highway by my favorite director of all time and my favorite person of all time, David Lynch. It's a noir/horror 1997 movie. I don't know how to tell you the synopsis of this movie without spoiling it, but I'm gonna try. So basically, a musician is haunted by the idea that his wife is cheating on him and suddenly finds himself accused of her own murder. Whatever I'm gonna say about this movie will do it no justice. David Lynch is one of the best directors of all time. You should definitely check out his entire filmography and his TV show Twin Peaks and the movies that accompany that. He's a great talented director. He tailors his movies perfectly so that they can be a box full of mysteries, and each time you watch his movies, your love for him and your appreciation of his work grows more and more, and each time you watch his movies, more ideas and more thoughts are being added to this movie. It's a great journey. Anyway, these are my 5 recommendations. If you missed part 1 of these recommendations, I'm gonna be linking it down below. And are there any horror movies you would like to recommend? Share your opinion down below. Thank you so much for watching and see you. Bye.